Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel. So as you can tell by the caption of the video today, we are going to be doing some gender reveal nails. I do want to start by saying make sure to comment, like, and subscribe for your girl. And you might see some baby hands in this video. It was bring your son to work day. So I had to bring my son with me today for this client. So you might see his hands a few times. Don't mind him. But yeah, let's get into the tutorial. So as you've seen, I pushed the cuticles back with my cuticle pusher, which I really like that one. You can get it off of Amazon for super cheap if you're looking for a good one. My clients never complain about any like hurting or anything like that. So I used to have a lot of complaints with this metal cuticle pusher that I used to use, but this one is a lot better. So now I am just filing away the old design and the old gel polish. Like I said, this is a fill-in, so most of this will be pretty quick. But yeah, this is a Pana. I think the brand of this drill bit that I'm using is Pana, and it is a ceramic drill bit, I believe, maybe carbide. I have to look it up, but I did try something new. There was somebody that had commented under one of my videos and asked why I don't use a certain type of bit, and it made me curious to try one. And this is one of the bits that comment was talking about. I just am not sure of the exact name. Granted, this is my first time using it, so but I do really like it. It kind of took a minute to get used to because I feel like you have to keep it going in one direction, but other than that, it worked. It works really good. It gets the gel off way quicker than the other drill bits that I use. It smooths it out way better. Like I can literally feel it smoothing out the nail when I go to file it at the end. It's weird, y'all, but I really like it. And so she wanted to keep these short, so we didn't really file them down much, but now I am taking my cuticle drill bit and I am just going underneath the cuticles, and this just exposes the entire nail and gets any dead skin cells, any excess nail, anything that needs to come off and out. It goes ahead and, you know, softens it, lifts it up a little bit, and gets ready for the next step, which is us using our sanding band. And I use a 180 grit sanding band, and I just go around the natural nail with that. I must have done that step next, so I went ahead and shaped up the nails, and then I'll do that step, so excuse that. But like I said, we didn't make these much shorter. We just went ahead and cleaned up the shape. As you can see, it's not really much that I have to do, because one thing, y'all, about me, I'm going to make the shape super clean, like to the point when they come back, especially if they're getting a fill-in, it ain't much to do. That is the ultimate goal. Like, as y'all can see, looking at her other nails that aren't filed, they still look good. Like, yeah, they could be cleaned and shaped up, but overall, like, y'all know how, like, when people go to the nail salons and the nails after so long, like, polish be chipping and the nails be like fat and wide and stuff like that. Nah, we don't do that over here at Manicured. You know, the shape stays as fresh as possible for as long as possible, but you know, yeah. So another thing I want to remind you ladies is to make sure you're pulling back the client's skin, because the file that I use is really sharp. It's an 80 grit, and it will slice your client. It's the most painful thing ever. I did it to myself plenty of times and it hurts so bad, y'all. So just be careful. And this file is a brand new file. You use a new file for every single client because it's a porous item, or porous tool, whatever. So yeah, this file be super sharp, especially when new. So you definitely want to keep that in mind. And I'm just cleaning up the free edge by just filing up and down at a 90-degree angle, making sure that it is nice and straight. As y'all seen, I'm turning my client's hand, looking at her nails from different angles, making sure that it is truly nice and straight. And so, okay, boom, insert rewind. This is what I was mentioning earlier. After you do, I don't know why I did it out of step this time, but normally I do it in the same order every time. So in this step, it's just me taking that sanding band and going across the new growth, the natural nail, getting rid of all of that nitty gritty that we got out with the cuticle drill bit, as well as getting the natural shine off of the nails. And I'm going in with my Mia Secret dehydrator. This is just kind of like another layer of getting rid of the natural oils. It dehydrates the nail from them, and that's important because that's what helps the acrylic bond to the nail. So that has to be done. That is key. And then this is my Young Nails Protein Bond, and this is what creates that bond, the bonding, I guess I should say, of the acrylic to the nail. Both of these products can be found on Amazon for a relatively really good price, actually. And they have never done me wrong, you guys. I love the Mia Secret Dehydrator and the Young Nails Protein Bond. I don't know if I will ever switch up because it's like, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. And I always do 2 layers. I forgot to mention that. I always do 2 layers of the Young Young's Protein Bond. That's totally optional. I just feel like it adds a little more oomph. You know, some people might say that that's a waste and it's unneeded, but I will tell you that I have never had a client say that their nails were lifting, unless, of course, you know, they've done went 4 or 5 weeks without getting their fill in, without maintaining their maintenance. So, you know, these acrylic ain't concrete, it's just acrylic. So, gotta keep that in mind. But now we are moving on to the acrylic application. So, I really love doing this on fill ins because it's just so satisfying and so easy. Just taking one bead and plopping it right over top of where the old nail leaves off at, I guess I should say, or the original nail. I just like to place my bead right there, and I go ahead and use the tip of my brush and I pat it up to get it into place, and then I lightly just feather it down. You don't want to place the acrylic on the cuticle. Even though it looks like that's where it needs to go, you do not want to place it there because it will flood the cuticle, which is just a whole mess in itself. So what I mean by that is, if any acrylic is to get on the skin or dry on the skin, one, it's super hard to clean off once it's dry, but 2, it will cause lifting for sure. So when you're doing this, you just want to make sure that you're placing it a little below the cuticle and pushing it up slightly, and then when you do feather it down, it will push it up a little bit more, which will eventually cause it to fall into place. So as you can see here, I'm just placing it and patting it down, pushing it up a little bit, and it is literally going so smooth, just falling right into place. And you guys, sorry if I sound very scratchy or if you hear me like clearing my throat, swallowing a lot. I do have strep right now, so be prepared to get a lot of videos. I'm not gonna have nothing else to do but to sit and edit these videos until I get rid of this, or at least until I'm not contagious anymore. So if you've had a sore throat or you've had strep, you know how painful it is and how much you gotta swallow and clear that throat, girl. So bear with me on that. But yeah, so this acrylic that I'm using, of course, y'all already know, is by Sugar and Cream. I'm not gonna go into my normal spiel that I always do on them, but I believe the color of this is called Lemonade. And I actually ordered the wrong color. This was supposed to be sand. That is, see, there's my son. It's crazy, y'all. He literally, like, dang near could do a whole full set. Not really, but he definitely knows what to do with what tool, and he is 1 year old, so it is crazy. But back to the acrylic, I actually ordered the wrong color. It was supposed to be sand. It's like my favorite base to use, but I ordered Lemonade thinking, oh yeah, this is the one I ordered. It's the same color. And although I like it, it's just a little bit lighter than I would like it to be. I want it to be a little bit darker for my bases. But it's all good. I'm still going to use it, and I'm still going to go back and order sand, but I definitely recommend their acrylics. They last me a long time, and they're literally butter. Like, best acrylics I've ever used. It's called Sugar and Cream, like I said, on Instagram. So definitely check them out. Okay, so now we are going to be placing this bead on the thumb, and I do recommend getting just a little bit bigger of a bead because it's the thumb, you know, wider nail. So as you can see, I am making sure to just lightly feather it down. It's all falling into place, and then you do want to make sure, I forgot to mention, that you are constantly wiping the sides of the nail as well as around the cuticle, and that will just make sure that everything stays nice and neat, nice and clean. It definitely saves a lot of time in the long run, so I definitely recommend it. And like I said, if any acrylic is to get on the skin and dry on the skin, it will be like way harder to remove it rather than just staying clean while applying the acrylic, because when it's wet you can just take your brush and simply wipe across the skin and the sides of the nail and it's all good. It'll just come right off. So I always say this in all of my videos, that it is better to work smarter and not harder. Of course, we all know that. So the cleaner you can stay for each, whether it's a full set, a fill-in, a manicure, like the cleaner that you are, the easier it will be, the quicker it'll go, and the less you'll have to do in the long run. Because as you can see here, I'm literally just touching the shape up. You know, most people when they do their fill-ins, or not most people, but I have seen some people when they do their fill-ins use like a bead that's so big that they're having to completely reshape the nail because most of the acrylic, you know, came down to the bottom of the nail, and that is not the case here at all. Barely any acrylic came down, but I do like to just go back in and reshape just because there was some acrylic that came down. And like I said earlier, I do not play about my shape. That is one thing that is going to be on point when booking with me. So I do also want to remind you ladies to make sure that you are getting underneath the sides of the nails. That is super important because a lot of times, you know, the nail gets kind of rigid, especially when it's a fill-in and being kind of old. Acrylic may get underneath of there, so you just want to make sure that you are straightening that out, making sure that it is nice and straight, nice and clean underneath of there, because it does take away from the quality of the nails if it looks all jagged and raggedy underneath the nail. So just keep that in mind. And so now I'm using that same drill bit and I'm just going around the cuticles and filing the entire nail. And as you can see, it's just going so smooth. But one thing I wanted to mention is that I feel like with this drill bit, I have to keep it going in one direction, which is from one side to the right, versus the old drill bit that I used to use. I could literally run it from left to right, you know, back and forth and not having issues. But with this one, if I was to just literally go left, right, without picking it up, taking it to the one side, and then as you can see, like maybe this will be a better explanation. As you can see, I started on one side and I'm filing over to the left, and then I'm picking the drill bit back up, filing it over to the left. Like I have to keep, I guess, repositioning it. But and if I don't, like if I just try to go left and right, back and forth, it will like spin out, which you will see it will happen right here. And thankfully it did not cut my client. She is okay, nothing, you know, no blood, no injuries. But this is when I realized like, oh, okay, I have to, that was where it just happened, if you've seen. But it's like, okay, I guess I have to do that, because I started to wonder like maybe like this is awkward, maybe I'm just doing it awkwardly. But no, you have to do it like that. So like I said, I like the bit overall. It took some getting used to, but I don't really like how it's a little different from my other drill bit, but it'll do. I like the outcome better, so that's all that matters. But now I'm just taking my little buffer, which I know I get a big pack of these off Amazon for like $10. Definitely worth it. Go check them out. And I'm just buffing the nail. This is super easy. You just buff the entire nail, y'all, from top to bottom, left to right. And I do like to just swipe it underneath the nail once or twice to make sure that the bottom is all nice and good. And then I don't film the next part, but I do lather the nails with cuticle oil on top and bottom. And then I have my clients wash their hands. And that really helps because I feel like it just really helps loosen all that dust. And that way when they come back from washing them, their hands are completely clean, no leftover acrylic, no leftover nail dust, anything like that. So it gives us a totally clean base to work with. And so, like I said, these are gender reveal nails. So one hand's going to be pink, one hand is going to be blue, of course. And on the thumbs, y'all will see me do a polka dot design. Just completely ignore that because we actually ended up changing it to glitter, which y'all will see later down the tutorial. But just ignore that because like the vibe. This was a freestyle, so like when I did the rest of my fingers, y'all will see what I mean. It was like giving bad mommy, like turned up. But the pinky and the thumb with the polka dots was giving like granny mommy. So we had to switch them to match with, you know, the rest of the vibe. So I did block this finger, the design on this finger, with my hand. I did not know that, but this is going to be a like a baby footprint. Don't worry about not being able to see it. I do it on the other hand in blue, and then you can see it way better. But I'm just taking my dotting tool. Literally, this is so easy, and I'm just making a little kidney bean type of shape, and making 5 little dots. I make the first one the biggest, of course, and then the ones following after just tiny. So like I said, I will show you how I do that on the boy hand, but it's really simple, you guys. I know it might sound hard, but it took me, as you can see, like a minute. And then on this hand, we're going to be doing a blooming French tip. So I'm going to start off by doing the pink French tip, and I always just start on the sides and bring the brush down, and then I like to go ahead and connect my U. I don't really have a specific method for this. I just always say that however deep you want your French, or not deep you want it, like that will be determined by how high you take your sides up. Obviously, the higher you take the sides up, I feel like the more French tip you'll have. But in this case, this is how she likes them. This is how we always do her French tip. So we kind of took it up high and made it a little more full. And then we will, once this dries, come back and do the blooming part. So yeah, the French tip can get kind of frustrating, especially when you feel like it's turning out different on every client, but it just is a work in progress. Like, y'all will get it for sure. I literally feel like I just kind of got good at French tip, which is kind of embarrassing to say, but you know, like, you have to have a real steady hand, and I feel like sometimes it just doesn't work out. Like, French tip can be real stubborn sometimes, so don't get discouraged if you feel like you're just not doing good, because like I said, I just now got good at it, and I still feel like honestly that I could do a little bit better. So there's that. But on this finger, we're going to be doing 3D flowers with some gems. So I'm going ahead and applying the top coat, and a lot of people put the gems on first and then apply the top coat. I might test that theory out. I used to do that before, but I felt like a lot of my clients lost their gems, or it made the nail look like really bulky. Like, you could tell where the like when you would apply the top coat over top of the rhinestone glue, it kind of made the glue stand out, like where it was at. So I started applying the rhinestone. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. I started applying the top coat and let it cure, and then I was applying the rhinestones. And I feel like I don't really have many people lose their rhinestones, and you definitely cannot see like big old lumps of where the stones are at. So I like that better. To each his own. You don't have to do it that way, but that's just what I do. I might try to switch back to the other method and to see how it works out. Like, granted, when I stopped doing that, it was kind of a long time ago, so I will see. I don't know. Comment down below if you're a nail tech, how you do it, which way you do it, and I don't know, depending on what the comments say, I might switch it up a little bit. I don't know. But as you can see, I'm just doing another French tip here, same method, 2 straight lines down the side, and then I'm just connecting my U and filling it in with that brush, and making sure that I wipe the sides of the nails, because sometimes the polish does kind of seep over, and it helps keep the shape. So that is really important. I do recommend that. There is another tip that I have when doing your French tips, but I will get to that because you'll see me do it later in this tutorial, just to help keep it like nice and neat. So yeah, I'm just filling that in, and I'm going to go ahead and clean off the sides of the skin and wipe the sides of the nails. And then I'm going to get my dotting tool, and then this is when you guys will be able to better see me do the baby footprint, which these used to be so hard, but I think I just used to be overthinking it. So I'm just going to, like I said, take an old dotting tool, and I literally just kind of maneuver it and make like a little kidney bean. Like I didn't use a reference or anything. I just kind of filled in a foot, you know, it was really simple. You know, kind of curved kidney bean. That's the best way I can describe it, honestly. And then I just did the 5 dots. Like I said, I do make the first one the biggest, obviously, because it's supposed to represent the big toe. So it's super easy, y'all. It might look hard, but just try it. Once you do it a few times, it'll be super easy. And so, like I said, on the thumbs and the pinkies of both hands, I do put polka dots, but we are going to change that to glitter, which you will see here in just a second. So just ignore the polka dots. We thought we was going for something. We ended up not going for it. But now just wiping the sides again, making sure that no polish gets on the skin. I don't know about y'all, but I just found out while painting my own nails the other day that if you get rhinestone glue or like gel polish on the skin, I put my hand under the dryer, y'all, and it burned so bad. So I don't know if that was just like, I don't know what happened, but I am like very adamant on making sure that my clients don't have no polish on their skin, no rhinestone glue, especially because, man, that burned so bad. But now I'm applying the blooming gel, and you do just want to do like a very thin coat of this because it does kind of start to disperse or like separate pretty quickly. So I'm just taking the same little painting brush, and I'm just getting like a nice decent amount of white to do my 2 little lines, and I'm doing like, you know, 4 or 5 down the side. And you do want to make sure that this gets into the dryer pretty quickly, because the longer that you leave it out, the longer that it will, like the more it will bloom, and eventually it will just start to look really runny. So you'll have to redo it. So just keep that in mind, because I used to try to do like all the fingers when I would do like, say I would do a whole blooming set. Girl, once I get to the middle finger, the other 2 look like who did it. So I just start taking my time. Normally when I do it now, I'll do like 2 fingers. You know, in this case I only have 1, so it worked out. But yeah, moral of the story is when you're using blooming gel, definitely make sure you get it under the dryer ASAP. So yeah, like I said, we're doing a 3D flower on this finger. Sorry, I just got a really weird text from a client and it threw me off. But yeah, we're doing a 3D flower, and so this is really simple. You just take a small bead of acrylic and press it down and literally press into it to kind of give it like an indentation. I know this might seem hard. I promise it's easy. You just want to get a small brush, and I got a pack of these off Amazon. Literally just look up like a small acrylic brush, and you just use like one of the really smallest ones. It's like shaped into like a triangle, and you just pick up a small kind of drier bead and place it on the nail. And like I said, just hold it for a few seconds and then press into it to give it that little indentation, and it will literally turn out like this. And you might have to go back over it and press onto it again with your brush, just because sometimes as it sits there, it kind of just comes back into just a bead. So as it dries, you might have to like press into it once or twice more to give it that indentation. But we did go ahead and add a little bear all over top of the middle fingers, a pink one obviously for the pink hand, and a blue one is going to go on this hand for the blue one. Look at them dots. Like, that's a total no. Like, when y'all look at the rest of the fingers and you see the dots, it's like a hell no. What was you thinking? I don't know what I was thinking, but we fixed it, so it's all good. But 3D flowers are actually, they used to be something I hated to do. When people would ask for them, I would literally lie and say, I don't have the stuff to do them, or I don't know how to do them. And it wasn't that I didn't know how, I just was scared to do them because I was scared of messing up. But I literally love to do them now. Like, I be having to remind myself to not do them on every set. I just love to do them. But as you can see, like, look how easy it is. Just get a small bead, place it, and just keep pressing down with the corner of your brush, like the tip of your brush. And it just perfectly, it'll just dry like that. A perfect indentation. And yeah, I just love them. They're so cute. I did only end up doing just the one, as you've seen on the other hand, just the one flower. And I just left the other 2 stones there because she got short, so I didn't want to like overcrowd her nail or anything. And yeah, place the bead, just literally press into it with your brush and let it dry. This does not need to go underneath the dryer. Obviously it's acrylic. So once you get it to set, you can just have your client sit her hand down or sit it back, whatever, go on to the next nail, whatever it is you're doing. And so now I'm putting on the blue bear, and you guys, I just thought about it. I guess I did not film it, but the tip that I was telling you about with the French tip, once you have your French tip finger completely done, gel top coat on, unless you're doing rhinestones, obviously I didn't do it in this set. File the French tip. File the nail at the free edge, make it crisp, and then if you're doing rhinestones, apply the rhinestones. If you're not, you're done. So just keep that in mind. That really helps the French come back to life after applying the gel polish. If you're doing acrylic, then you don't have to do that. I mean, after you apply your top coat, you can, but I've seen a major difference doing that. So, a little hack for you. And so, like I said, we changed these nails to glitter, so I just went ahead and put some pink polish underneath. Obviously, whatever color glitter you're using, you want to use a matching polish. And while it's still wet, don't cure it. While it's still wet, you want to go ahead and pour the glitter over top, and then you will have your client cure. I always do 90 seconds only because with the glitter going on top of it, sometimes it will take a while for it to completely like set. It's just kind of like curling your hair. Like when you curl, you know, you have to give it a while for the heat to transfer into the entire curl, like especially if you have thick hair. So just think of it kind of that way. You just want to make sure that it's drying the entire nail. And as you can see, I kind of like tapped her fingers a little bit, that way the excess dust will come off. And you do want to make sure that you wipe around the client's finger as much as you can, because if the glitter kind of dries, it might be hard to get off. If you do that, a really quick hack is to just take a little buffer and buff around your client's finger. It'll get all the glitter off, if not most of it, but usually all of it. You just gently buff around their finger. Like, it doesn't hurt, it doesn't mess their skin up at all. It's like a really good simple hack to use. So on this hand, of course, we did blue. I'm still so dead at them polka dots. I'm so glad that we changed them, y'all. That is part of being a nail tech. You got to improvise. You got to have a sense of urgency, because I was like, I said, girl, what do you think about it if we add glitter? And she's like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't dislike the dots. I like the dots, but the glitter would be cool. And I'm like, yeah, girl, we're gonna go with the glitter because it just matches the vibe of the rest of the nails. As y'all can see, what I was saying earlier, it's like kind of like crazy. The rest of the nails, and then the polka dots just threw it off. But yeah, after the glitter nails come back out, you just want to dust them off, and this is the finished result. So cute, so babyish, definitely giving gender reveal, like really giving what they need to give. So I hope you ladies enjoyed this video. Please make sure to comment, like, and definitely subscribe. I'm doing a subscriber giveaway that you don't want to miss, so make sure to hit the subscribe button. And yeah, thank you for watching. Until next time.